All right, so part two of Office 2016 and Windows 10. This part is really important, the idea of organizing files and folders. I can't stress enough that, I see a lot of people who have desktops. I've got some temporary stuff right now that I did yesterday on my desktop. This is not normally how I keep my desktop. I like to keep it clean, but I've seen people with like shortcut icons. Those are the ones with the arrow here. This is a shortcut to this program. This is an actual file. Okay, so you get the idea of files, shortcuts, etc. Let me drag this over. Here's one you commonly see. This is the recycle bin. Remember that unless you empty the recycle bin, all the files you put in the recycle bin are still taking up disk space. Organizing files is huge. Okay, I'm going to give you an example here of file organization. I'm going to come in here and I'm going to do this on the desktop. Now, let's be clear. If you've got a backup program and you're backing up just your My Documents folder, it's not going to back up the stuff that's on the desktop. So what I like to do is, instead of putting files on the desktop, now notice I've done that. I've got this picture here, for example, that is a file on the desktop. Normally what I'll do is I'll right-click the file and put a shortcut on the desktop that points to a file or a folder. Notice I don't have a lot of shortcuts for programs. This is one I installed yesterday, and matter of fact, I really don't need it. I'm not going to use it a lot, so I'm going to right-click and delete it. But let's say we have this new folder that we created, and of course I'm going to create this here, and this is going to be my COCC education folder. Okay, now if everything I do in every single class is every file is put here, you can see very quickly it's going to become next to impossible to find anything. So let me build a good folder structure, okay, for my classes here. So let's say I start in fall 2017. I come in here, I do new folder. Okay, and I'm going to call this fall 2017. Now under fall 2017, I'm going to double click, and I'm going to create some new folders. These folders would be for the class I take. So let's say fall 2017, I'm going to take CIS 120 computer concepts. Okay, and then under that, I know I'm going to have some student data files. So I'm going to create another folder, new folder. Student data files. By the way, I'm right-clicking new folder. Okay, I'll have some homework. Right-click new folder. Might have some handouts. You get the idea. Now, if you notice here in my COCC education, this is the path to the folder I'm in. Okay, now notice if I click on handouts, now I'm in the handouts folder, which is within CIS 120, which is in fall. By doing this, I have one folder that contains all of my classes. Here comes the next term, new folder. This is going to be winter 2018. And by doing this, folks, I can easily find anything related to a term, anything related to a specific class. I can come up here, in my desktop. Notice I'm in my desktop. Okay, here's my COCC education, and I want to search in there for a homework folder. There's a homework folder. Notice in the education, in fall, in for 120. So that'll give you the idea. If today we have so much disk space that if we don't create a good folder structure, it becomes impossible to find things that we need. I've shown you how to create a good folder. Create a folder within a folder. We did that. Expand a folder, through the folder contents, collapse a folder. You got an idea of how that was done. Okay. If I click here, if I go into education, I'm expanding through all the folders. So you see, here's COCC, here's fall, here's that course in fall, subfolders in that. So I can do that. That way, by the way, I can get right to the handouts folder. So hopefully that gives you a wonderful idea of creating folders. Switch from one app to another. So if you're using a mouse, point to the app at the bottom of the screen. this is really simple. This is how I do it. Notice right now I'm on the PowerPoint app. If I wanted to switch to the recording app, now it's coming in on the other screen. You can't really see it. Let me open up another app. I'll open up Word. Create a document. There we are. I'll minimize that. So now I'm on PowerPoint. If I want to be on Word, I can just click and up it comes. I love the fact that it gives me a little preview. So if you notice, here's a preview of what was on the other screen. The reason being I don't want to put that over the recording. Preview Word, so I can see a little preview and then just click to get there. I think it's Alt-Tab. Alt-Tab also will give me a bigger preview. Now I can just click what I want and it'll open it up. So wonderful ways to navigate. Save a file. I did that in the last video. Click the Save button on the Quick Access toolbar. Now, to display either the Save As gallery or the Backstage or the Save As. If I haven't saved a file yet and I click on that, so let me go in here. See, I haven't saved this file yet. It's still under default. If I click here for Save, it takes me to the Save As because I haven't saved it yet. So let's go ahead and do a Save As. One more time. Yeah, you can skip ahead if you like. I'm going to just click here, right? I'll go here, desktop. I could even write over that file because it'll put the file extension back, save this. So I'm going to put this, notice where I'm putting it. It's in this PC on the desktop. This is the name of the file, and I hit save. Now if you notice, the file is saved. Now if I type something, this is new, and I hit save again, watch what happens. All it does is automatically save the document. Okay, so my rule, save and save often. You can pause and read through the screen if you like. Minimize and restore a window. Well, we already did that. Minimize button. Again, if I click here, let me open up. I don't know. Open up Excel. Excel. There's Excel. Create a blank doc. I can come down here and I can right click. Okay. I can close the window from here. If you notice, the window is currently open. I can click to open it fully. I can click to minimize. Click to minimize. Click to maximize. And then we already looked at how we can snap those. So there's wonderful tools here that we can use with our mouse to quickly do what we want. Save a file on OneDrive. Well, we've got this file here. Notice it's still booked. We haven't saved it yet. I'm going to go File, Save As. And because I'm connected to my OneDrive, now I have many OneDrives, as you can see. Okay, let's go ahead and save that on my personal OneDrive. I don't have to open up this full window here. Okay, if you notice, it's saying, personal, one personal OneDrive. I can actually do it from right here. Notice it's in my OneDrive personal. I'll call this a save test file. I click save. And now it's saving it out to my OneDrive. Now, if it hasn't connected to my OneDrive in a while, if you notice it's thinking, it's now saved that file. So if I close that and I come into my personal file, notice it's processing the changes. It's uploading that file. Okay? So there's saving to OneDrive. Now, we've talked about the advantages of OneDrive. Google Drive, by the way, is the same as OneDrive. It's just from Google. Okay, so if we come in here to my File Explorer, we can see that I have my Google Drive here. And if I click on this, this is all the stuff that I can access from my Google Drive. All right. So saving stuff to the cloud, the great reason to save stuff to the cloud is that I can access it from my smartphone. I can access it from other places. I also know that if it's saved at Google, it's saved in Microsoft, they're going to have backups of my backups of my backups. One of their data centers goes down. My files are available in another data center. It's hugely convenient. Save it to a flash drive, leave it in the classroom. I could lose it. So you get the idea. Change screen resolution. Now, with the high dots per inch DPI monitors that exist today, actually, I'm going to go ahead and delete that, that exist today, it can be a real challenge. Some programs aren't programmed to use these high definition But if I right click on the desktop and go to display properties, I'm going to be able to see, yes, I have many different monitors. Some of these are for monitors at home, etc. Scaling, because I'm using a resolution, I'm actually scaling the text up higher. Now I can't change this while making a video because it messes up the video. But if you notice, I can change to different resolutions. So if you have a program that you know works well in 1920 by 1440, you can come in and change your screen resolution while you use that program, and then come back and change it again. So that's how we can change our screen resolution. Click, advanced settings, exit an app, we know how to do that. By the way, save and save first. If you exit and you haven't saved, Microsoft is usually pretty good at saying, hey, did you mean to exit without saving this 15-page essay that you have yet to save to your computer? So there is a reminder. Copy a folder to OneDrive. Well, simply put, if we open up our File Explorer, not only can we access our Google Drive, but here's my OneDrive. Okay, for like the college here, here's my personal OneDrive. Okay, so oh, that's weird. Yeah, I'll still be uploading that file. It's kind of weird. So here's my OneDrive. If I want to drag something to it, let's say something on the desktop, like this, my little Mavic pricing spreadsheet. I'm looking at I was looking at a drone and pricing some items that I want for my drone. All I have to do is left click and I can drag it over. Now if you notice, left click and drag is going to move it. If I simply want to copy it, I can left click and then have it move. By the way, so it moves. If I do it to an area, say on the computer, like move Talia's music over, left click, it'll by default move. I can right click and choose something else. So to my documents, I can move, or create shortcuts, or copy. So if I don't want to move, but instead want to make a copy of it, I can do that as well. To unlink OneDrive account, well, all I have to do is come down here. I can right click. Okay, I can exit. That's going to unlink one account so that I can link another account. Now, let me be pretty clear here. Microsoft is making great improvements, as I said previously, with the OneDrive application, so that I can have my business OneDrive for my company, my personal OneDrive, multiple OneDrive accounts that they currently don't support. Okay, but they're getting to do that. So isn't it amazing how this brand new slide is almost obsolete? So PowerPoint, full featured presentation. Again, not going to go into a lot of details on these different apps. It is a presentation. You're familiar with PowerPoint. You're watching one right now. Run the app. It is the same thing. In the search box down here, just start typing Power. And there's the PowerPoint. Click on PowerPoint and it opens right up. Notice there's another program that I use more often called PowerShell, because I typed in POW. There's PowerPoint. Okay, PowerShell is listed as well, so other apps. Okay, put in a slide. We're going to go through this material. Pick in the Backstage, pick a template, put in a title. We're going to talk about how to create great PowerPoint presentations. So, by the way, these PowerPoints here, these are given to me by the publisher of the textbook, and I use them. It doesn't mean they're mine, and it doesn't mean I necessarily like them. I do make a lot of changes to them prior to giving lectures. So, close a file using Backstage, pretty easy. Open a recent file using Backstage. So again, if I go into Word here, and I'm in the Backstage. Let me just open a template so we can see how to get back to Backstage. We hit File. We're in Backstage. Notice these are some of the old files. So if I wanted to open Mr. Writer's hardware document again, I just double-click it. It's on my computer. In my downloads, it's going to go there. Notice it says it's in downloads, so it's going to find it there. If I delete it, then it'll delete from this list as well. Sometimes I've noticed that they'll stay, and you click on it, it says it can't find it. Well, that's because I've deleted the file. So we can open recent files, we can save, we can even do a new file, even though I'm in a file. I can go to info, get the documents, I can protect it. Again, we're going to do all this in detail in the class. That works, by the way, with all of the Office suite. Excel, powerful spreadsheet app. We can create workbooks and worksheets. We can create charts and tables and graphs that represent the data on the worksheet. In this class, we're actually going to create a personal budget for you all so that you all leave this class with an Excel spreadsheet that you can use as your budget. So start thinking about things that you would want on your budget. To create a new blank document from File Explorer. So if I'm in File Explorer, and I'll go to my desktop here, okay? And I come down here, let me make this a little bigger, to an empty section. I can right-click New, and if you notice, it gives me options to create things like a Microsoft Publisher document, Microsoft Word, Microsoft Access. So I can actually start a file right from here. Let me start a Microsoft Excel file. Here's the cool thing about starting files this way. It forces me to name the file right off the bat. Eric Magidson financial budget file. For example, I click there, I double click, and I'm right in my brand new Eric Magidson financial budget file. By the way, be careful because I can also just simply right click and hit delete. That file's gone. Now, as we know, it's not gone, right? It's sitting in the recycle bin until I empty my recycle bin. Empty your recycle bin often. It's going to clear up a lot of space on your computer. Run the app, File Explorer, open. We saw how to open a file. I created that new file. Double click on the file. It opens. So Excel, again, we're going to go through this in detail. So I'm not going to talk about it here. We'll talk about the unique features of Excel. Wonderful features in there. My favorite is the what if button. What if this number changes? How does it affect everything else? I'm actually going to show you how much money you might consider you need to retire, and then how you might earn that money over the next years in your working career. Most of you are here getting a degree so that you can make more money. Folks, the sooner you start investing, the better off you are. And I'm going to prove that to you in class using Microsoft Excel. Notice we start seeing similarities. The Save button is in Excel. Just like it was in Word, the Save button is going to be in Access. We're going to look at Access. It's a database program. Don't worry, we're not going to get too in-depth, but it is a really great program. I've actually known people, and I actually used to have one, where I created an Access database that was for all the stuff in my house, so that I had serial numbers, so that I had documents associated with it. Wonderful little database. How do you create one? Well, same thing. We just come down here, type in Access. There's the Access program. We open it up. We can select from, like a personal account, lending library database, an inventory database, a blank database. I'll just pick that. Notice we can come up here, do the Save As. It'll save my database right off the bat. Come in here, File, Save As, save the whole database. Access is a little different, and again, we're going to keep that for the end of this class so we can kind of get an idea of how to do that. Open an existing file. Well, we can click on the ribbon. We can come in here to Word. We can open Word, go to the Backstage. We can do it from the File Explorer. All these different great ways. Outlook, well, it's an email client, but it's not just an email client anymore. As we know, we're going to look at Outlook. It's email. It is calendaring. It's scheduling. It's all these wonderful things. And of course, today we can have Outlook on our computer as well. So wonderful things to keep in mind. Publisher, again, talked about that. Desktop publishing. It is Word on steroids. When we open Publisher, we get a little bit different interface. So I have Publisher 2016. By the way, this doesn't tend to come, I don't think it comes with your student edition. Create a blank Publisher. Notice it looks like Word, but you can see that the ruler is much better. There's a different styles. We can import specific styles. We can do page designs with tons of different colors. We can mail it just like we can with Word. We can review the document. So a lot of features of Word, including picture shapes. We'll look at Word and Publisher together so we kind of get an idea. But this is really going to give us some huge granularity. Let me turn on, like, I'll turn on the graphics manager and baseline and fields, and notice we can start snapping things to the document, etc. I'm not going to save that. I'm going to close that out. So that's Publisher. OneNote, again, a note-taking application. We can search through, find notes. We can convert those. Renaming a file is really easy. If I come into my File Explorer, go to my desktop, here is Eric Magidson. Remember this, save this. If I right-click and choose Rename, Eric Magidson, oops, Eric Magidson, save this file for review. I don't know. Okay, but you get the idea. Enter. It renames the file. So, love to give files great names. Now, if you notice here, these are just images, okay, for something that I'm doing in Sisters. It's a router configuration. They're copies of the configuration files. Sorry, I can't show those to you, confidential. But if you notice, once I get done, what I would do is go in here and rename this file to what the picture represents. So somebody doesn't have to go through 9 to find the picture they're looking for. All right, renaming files, great idea. We have 254 characters. We can use big file names. So move a file, we looked at that. Delete a file, kind of looked at that. Going to finish up this in part 2. Open, help. So help is a wonderful tool. By the way, help is now online. So to get the full help functionality, we need to have an internet connection because the help files are constantly changing. Open up a blank document, hit the F1 key, and we get integrated help. Notice it's taking a while because it's updating the help files from what's available. Now I can just type in, I don't know, save, and it says, oh, you want to know about save as? Yeah, so it gives me all the help for save as, using save as Daisy in the add-in with save or convert to a PDF. So if I click on that, it gives me instructions on how to do that. So that's the F1 key, okay, for help. Move a window by dragging it. Yes, we can just move windows around by dragging them. Resize a window by dragging. So let me just go ahead. I think I already did this in part 1, but notice I've minimized this. Now I can just resize this to fit. There we go. Let's go through. Obtain help. Let me maximize this. We can obtain help via the search text box. Help for the operating system. Get help. Get help. Here's help for Windows. Okay, so again, it's going out. It's getting the latest help files. So if there was a mistype or whatever that's been corrected, it's going to come there. Help for Premier support, partners, small business, volume licensing. What is it we can help with? All right. The tell me box, obtain help. So type in the search box, just frankly another way to get help within applications. Search box, and folks, that's it. That's your part 2 lecture. Now, if you have questions that you'd like me to answer, shortcuts, new things about Windows 10, I'm happy to provide that information. Just ask, all right? Take care, folks.